Today I'm going to be talking about unboxing the new PC that I bought primarily for video rendering over on my YouTube channel, The Blood Angels Commander. You can check that out. I'll put a link down below if you want to do that. But yeah, I mean, that's what I bought this computer for, but it's going to benchmark crazy good. I'm going to put the spec on screen as we go through some of the unboxing so you can just see what I actually ended up going for. The computer arrived in a giant box, as you would expect, with so much bubble wrap. And it was so difficult actually to find a PC case that still had an internal drive bay. And an internal drive bay is what I really wanted. I wanted it to be able to burn Blu-ray discs. Obviously, I make a lot of videos. Storing them can be kind of uh, large on the file size, so I ended up having to get this giant case. But in hindsight, I actually really like the case. I mean, it's big, but it gives great airflow. It actually means that there's like a lot of space inside the computer if you ever needed to do upgrades or anything like that. And but I mean, it is heavy. I struggle here. I cannot literally get it out the bottom polystyrene. Um, so I don't really know how you're supposed to do this. Uh, Definitely not this way. So I called in the wife and managed to get the bottom off. Then, of course, as a computer comes these days, they are packed pretty heavily with bubble wrap, and you need to make sure you remove all this before you even try and put it up. So, but this is what I meant. Like, there's just so much space inside this machine. If you ever want to do anything, I, I I like the big cases. I think it just gives modularity, and then just had a quick look inside it. Obviously, we've got the 3090 GeForce in there. The thing that confused me was I knew that I'd bought another hard drive, so I was like looking inside, thinking like, oh geez, they've not put the hard drive in there. There's also a capture card you can see there, and there's the 850 modular power supply. There is a water cooler on the CPU, but none of this. I decided not to overclock this system at all. I want the system to last me like 10 years. I use it primarily for work, so and then I took the back off. So that was where one of the hard drives was hiding behind there. So I've got an M2 drive and then I've got an SSD. And again, it all really comes down to just what you need for video editing. I know the lighting is here is terrible. In hindsight, I should have probably not filmed on the backdrop of the front door. I just didn't know if I could get that giant box up my stairway. So I thought that's where I would just film it. You can see now this case is fairly large. And I'm just going to compare it to the size of my old case and a quick side-by-side comparison. And you can see here, I mean, I did measure to check it would fit under the desk. There isn't a whole lot of clearance, but it will fit. And it just really was down to the lack of the amount of new cases that do not come with internal drive bays is boggling for me. Um, so then I got 3D Mark, and if you've never run 3D Mark, then you probably should. It's a little program that just benchmarks your computer. I just put it on here. And this is a free trial. You can actually get a free version on Steam. I mean, you can buy the more advanced version and get all your sort of like all the different tech demos. But the free version, I think, is good enough, and it'll give you a score and it'll let you know just how well your system performs. It's like a 4 or 5 minute little cutscene. I think it might be built in Unreal Engine, but don't quote me on that. So anyway, it does various tests, and here at the end you can kind of see, and while the tests are running at the bottom of the screen, it shows you like your frame rate and stuff like that. So the one thing to say is that the system performed really well, considering there's no overclocking in the system. I would have preferred it had been a little higher. 18845 is actually a really very reasonable score. If you compare it, it's actually in the top 2% of all PC systems around at the moment. Excuse the mess on my desk, obviously. And yeah, I took a couple of photos for my friends because we're always benchmarking our PCs to see how they would do. This one is very much for work though, so this will be primarily doing all the video editing that I do on my computer. And in terms of raw video editing speed over my old computer, I'm video editing about 4 or 5 times faster. It's phenomenal. And you can see there it finishes just under basically a SLI 380, which is great for a single GPU card. So Scan Computers actually sent you a starter kit, which we're going to unbox in just a second so you can see what you would actually get if you make your order from Scan yourself. I've been doing a couple of small videos for this channel based around this new machine, so if you do want to see any of these new videos, I would love it if you consider subscribing. And I got some other videos I'm working on for the channel as well. I recently picked up an electric skateboard. I want to talk about that, learning to skate 30 years on. Should be a pretty fun video. So please consider subscribing and check out this unboxing section for the rest of this video. So I wanted to see what you actually get sent in the rest of the boxes when you do join Scan. So you get this nice pack that says like, do not open, please read, and I guess it's just some help on setting up the PC, you know, what you need to do, what the order actually is, etc, etc, etc. So that is fine, I'm happy enough with that. And if you want to see the specs of this PC, I guess you can see them here. It's a pretty powerful PC, I would guess, like an i9 2900K. We get 32 gig of RAM. We've got that the M2 Samsung 980, and then we've got the GeForce 3090, which we'll be using for some benchmarks later. So let's put this to the side and see what else they send us. Obviously we get a 3XS large mouse pad. I mean, that's nice enough. Quality seems okay. It's Corsair, so it's probably okay. I have my own mouse pad, of course, but yeah, that's what that is. We also get our motherboard box. What was in here, probably extra leads and cables that we don't need. CPU brackets, I guess, for when they're setting that up if it doesn't. And you get the motherboard manual. I'm not really going to mess with any of this, and I am going to put that one screw that's loose back into one of these bags. But I didn't overclock this system at all because the system cost a lot, and I plan to keep it for about 10 years because I kept my last system for about 8 years. So I think by not overclocking it, I could potentially have it last longer. The parts, it's probably minor wear out on the parts to overclock it, but that's what I'm doing. And then you also get this fancy 3XS box. Again, I think this is going to be like extra cables that come with the power supply or something. And oh, it's some braided cable, some sort of bracket that probably came off the case. I have no idea what this is, so I'll open that. A kettle lead, obviously, and then a mug. Okay, thanks for the mug. I definitely, a bonus mug, I guess. And yeah, these are power supply extra, because it is a modular power supply. Alright, quick cut because I ran out of battery, but that's fine. So I'm going to I'm going to see if I can pull out the motherboard manual and see what the hell this is, because I'm sure it's part of them. If it's a Wi-Fi extender or something, that would be cool. Oh, you actually get a motherboard manual, or you actually get a CD for your motherboard. Not many PCs have CD drives these days. Mine does, because I'm abnormal and I wanted the drive, but most people, where would this be? Would it be at the very back? I mean, probably, because you're not... I was going to say you're not... Oh yeah, look here. It's a Wi-Fi antenna. Oh, cool. So... Oh, and it just opens up, does it? Aha! Simple when you know what it is. Alright, cool. So we've got Wi-Fi extender antenna that comes with the motherboard. So I didn't buy an external Wi-Fi card, that is just on the motherboard. This is an ROG Striker Z690F, and I think the motherboard was about 300 bucks. So I really don't know why you pay 300 bucks for a quote-unquote gaming motherboard these days. Someone can let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, that is all the extras. The next thing we're going to be looking at is some benchmarking, and then I think I'll come back in another video and we'll actually put it into some games and see what the performance is in some games. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will... Okay, and finally, here is the PC, hiding down the side. Yeah, there's a baby monitor on top of it, and I mean, I have a million USB cables in here because I do streaming and whatever. So yeah, it's a big boy. It's a big boy. Do you know what I haven't even done is seen if the DVD writer actually opens.
Well, that's good. It's quite quiet comparatively, and I mean, when you compare it to the size of my other computer, or my previous computer, I mean, this one sits as tall as the desk. This other one sits half as tall as the desk. So yeah, decent size, and alright.
Alright means is actually way too fucking big and has to sit next to the desk. But has improved my YouTube pipeline for uploading videos on the Blood Angels channel extremely. The cut down in time is crazy. It used to take me like probably 2 or 3 hours from finishing a video to getting it rendered to getting uploaded. I can now do that whole thing in like 45 minutes, which is a giant saving on time. So that's great. And I'll be doing a couple more videos on this channel. Maybe even play some PC games. And I have been streaming a little bit of that new Grey Knights game over in the Blood Angels channel. So if you want to see that, you could check that out as well. Thanks for watching and sticking around to the end of the video. I will catch you in the next one, brothers. Peace.